Greetings. Thank you for joining us. This is In the Metal, dedicated to the world of independent and artisanal watchmaking. My name is Johnny McElherron. I am based here in Ireland and basking in a wonderful, unusual summer of.
Is it?
Well, it's been great. Uh, Introduce yourself, sir.
So my name is Jayesh Kumar, known as Jay Kumar. I'm a chef, owner of two restaurants in Brooklyn, New York. Lived in Switzerland for 30 years. Moved to Brooklyn for this amazing woman called Daria Britt Green, and here I am, sitting and talking watches with Johnny McElherron in Ireland.
There we go. Jay, you are in the clover, my man, by the sound of things. You're
Uh,
living life and enjoying every day. That's the way to go.
so that's the
That's the
way
way
it
to
is.
go.
That's the way it should go.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. So, yeah, look, it's been a funny old few weeks for us, really, with the watch industry kind of
Yes. Holidays.
gone into hibernation. It's isn't it well for them? I have to say, like that they're able to disappear off the scene of the earth for 4, 5, 6 weeks. I don't think they all do. I think they take a couple of weeks, but it's just spaced out over that 2 month window. And I guess with Geneva Watch Days
Yes.
coming up in the next couple of weeks or next few weeks, what date are we today? 12th.
On the
Uh,
2nd of September till the 6th, I think, isn't it?
yeah. So Geneva Watch Days, and it'll be interesting to go back to. I've been there for pretty much, every edition of Geneva Watch Days.
How many years have they been doing it now?
I what would you say, 3 years, 4 years.
I know
Uh,
that they had. I mean, the Watches and Wonders. That's a totally different story. That was the aftermath of SIHH and the Basel World closing, I suppose, right?
Correct and right. There was that window of opportunity to do something new. There was SIHH, which usually had been in the
Alexpo.
in January. I think SIHH was usually very, very early in the year. And
So what I think happened was, like, soon as Basel World happened, they had the SIHH after, so that people didn't have to go back to wherever they came from and then fly back to SIHS. So they sort of, sorted out, their days so that there's no double expense.
yeah. And of course, Basel World is coming back next year. In a sense, that it's joining up with with Watches and Wonders next year, and
Yes, I think what they're trying to do is not to concentrate too much on the watch part, but on the jewelry part, but then having some sort of a medium level brands, which is not going to be the same as what it used to be. Like, when you enter the main hall, you had LVH, LVMH, and then you had a right side, you had the Pateks, you had Rolex, Tudor. That's how. But this, I don't think it's going to be the same anymore. It's I think mostly morely jewelry and then medium level watches.
yeah, there's there's a lot of events happening. As I say, Basel World dipping its toe, MCH coming back in, dipping its toe back into the watch fair, the jewelry fair again. Interesting times. Also, a massive event happening in Dubai later on this year. The escapement.
Yeah,
That's
escapement is supposed to be
that's
really insane. Who's actually organizing the escapement?
I need to look into that for you. I know that it's their tagline is it's for collectors by
By
collectors.
collectors, yes.
Yeah,
So I
and
don't understand.
it's
There should be a very big community behind that, because the Dubai Watch Week is a totally different story, because that is given the energy from Siddiquis. I know that, but escapement, I'm supposed to be much bigger.
it's going to be crazy. It's like What is it? Well, of course we don't know what it is yet, but it's being pitched like it's like a rock concert in a stadium with
Yeah.
stages and with so it's hard to envisage how that's going to manifest itself. But you're asking me who's behind it. There's a team here that I'm looking at. It's Watch Anish, of course, Anish.
Oh, of course. If Watch Anish is involved, then it's going to be really, I mean, another level for sure.
Yeah,
So, and he also has all his.
Robert John Brewer.
I don't know that.
Yeah, King from Watch the Time, Marco Concina, our friend from Swiss Watch Gang.
Yes.
There's Watch Story, DXB, and Changing Time, 5001. So it's we'll just have to wait and see what this.
This is the community situation. Then it's nothing to do with, the watch community from the brand side. It's a watch community coming in from the influencer social media side, which is big.
It's a completely different
Yeah,
angle on this kind of
really.
event. So yeah, amazing. It'll be fascinating to see. It will be all. We will be talking about that in depth in another couple of months, I'm sure. As we
When is
start
that going to
getting,
be though?
where is it? It is in Abu Dhabi.
When?
And the dates are. Let me see. It's 20th to 22nd of November
Oh
this
wow.
year. Yeah. So
Oh,
that's
so
that's it.
there's Time to Drive in Miami happening 2 weeks earlier, and Time to Drive is from my friends Perry Dash and Lex Barrero. Shout out to them. They Perry has had this amazing, podcast with his ex partner Rashawn Smith, and they used to have a lot of collectors and the community on their podcast. And then I think Lex and Perry got together to, they did something called Time to Drive, from
Yeah,
Germany to Switzerland and going to different watch makers, but driving some amazing supercars. So that
that
was the
sounds.
first edition, what they did in Germany to Switzerland. Then the second one they did, I think, or the third one, I don't know exactly, from in Japan. They went to all of these Japanese watchmakers, like Grand Seiko or Stuka Lotek and all of those guys. And now they are having this amazing event, which they expect about 10,000 people coming in, all community people, which combines cars and watches. So you have all the major brands like MBNF and Ulis Nardan, all of those guys. And then you have also these amazing brands, car brands like the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, the Porsches. So it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that sounds like here. We should do that. We should do that, Jay. Let's get a couple of supercars, man, and let's
We can't
whiz around.
manage with supercar. We got to get hypercars.
Funny you mention that. I was in a McLaren Senna about a month ago.
Why?
I was driving around town and I let this guy out of a junction and he stopped in front of me. He says, "Johnny, do you want to come for a spin?" And man, let me.
I don't want to.
I got an education in speed. The whole experience lasted about 10 or 15 minutes,
Really.
and I came back with a whole new outlook on life. Let me tell you, and it was incredible. Yeah, hypercars. This thing was, as we say here, it went like snow off a rope. It was just like. And the wall of acceleration, just whenever you're in a car or a bike, or a car in particular, you have that range of acceleration between maybe 30 miles an hour and maybe 80 miles an hour. And after that, the next 30 miles or an hour are slower to come by. This thing just kept going and going and going. And it was just, we were skittering across the surface of the earth at a very ridiculous rate of knots. And I loved it.
That's good.
And I'm going to
These are the experiences what you need to do so that you know exactly what you're talking about in the end, right?
Well, once your backside has been in a car like that, and you've experienced that, then literally, I was watching Formula One the next week, and I thought I understand more about how what that is like, because like every young guy thinks. Well, I'm saying I'm a young guy. That's poetic license in the
It's true,
extreme,
man.
but but. So every young guy thinks, oh, I can hop into that and just bang away I go.
But
Like,
it doesn't work like that.
that's why so many of these cars end up pointing backwards out of ditches and halfway up trees and stuff like that, because it isn't just so easy as you might think. Anyway, that's for another day. But so yeah, here, people are expecting us to talk about watches. What do you think? Should we talk about watches or just
Yes, let's go to those beautiful timepieces what we've selected for today.
Indeed. Quite a diverse selection. So you have, where would you like to start? Give me a
I think we should go with Michael Friedman first.
Michael Friedman. Who is Michael Friedman, Jay?
Michael Friedman, I mean, he is an artist by himself. He's a genius. He's a philosopher. He's got so much going on in himself. I think wasn't he the creative head of Audemars Piguet?
He was, I think, head of complications. And yep. And so, head of complications at Audemars Piguet, a position that he arrived at through his career. I think is spanning back approximately 30 years in the
Yes.
watch industry. But he began in Christie's auctions,
Yeah.
which gave him an insight into the dynamics, if you like, of the luxury watch world.
Yes.
And so it's funny whenever you're in a position like that, how doors open and how you qualify for a role such as head of complications with a company like Audemars Piguet. And it has to be said that for the time that he was there, for it, which I think spans about 20, maybe more years.
Yeah, about 20 years. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
he had a very significant input into the direction of Audemars Piguet. And
Yeah. And I think when you look at his creation, what he came out with is, I mean, all of these years put together in one. I mean,
this is it. This is the B theory by a company. His company, everything about this is new. Even the name of the brand is called pattern recognition. It's not a traditional classical name or family name or anything.
No, it isn't.
And when you look at, I don't have an image of the logo, but even the logo it's kind of disruptive. It's not.
I see all the R's going in between. I know what you're talking about. I saw that. That on his talk with Ben Clymer of Hodinkee. He did a talking watches, just a recent one. Was amazing. I mean, that was music to every watch enthusiast ears. It's like looking at a watch like that over here, right in front of us. It is crazy. Look at that.
It's insane. Okay, so what are we looking at? It's basically it's a curved case out of grade 5 titanium, and it has, as we can see from the image here, it has a completely open worked dial, which is a longitudinal display. It's not a dial as such. If you insist, there is a small hours and minutes dial that is and if you can imagine, people, it's a lengthy rectangular display which curves over the curvature of the wrist, and within that is the movement, which is a manual wind movement, which, although I don't have I was searching today for the name of the caliber or exactly who did what in it, but he's worked with people who he has worked with over his career, from people like people in Audemars Piguet,
Yeah.
people with from Vanguard, which is another brand that I'm excited to go and see
I
when I'm in
think
Geneva.
Vanguard is the ones who made his movements and worked on this particular thing. I think that is exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah, and it is look, it's a sensational piece. I use the word disruptive. I am cautious when I use that word disruptor, because a few years ago every bloody Kickstarter campaign were saying that they were going to disrupt, and they were, and with I haven't actually gone back and done a verification to see who disrupted what, but so I'd be worried about using that
Yes,
expression, but
it
you
is a
can tell.
very sensitive word. Yeah, you're right.
So, so what we've got here, so dominating the display, right in the center, is a flying tourbillon, which is the whole view of the watch, the whole uh, perspective is it's a three-dimensional
Yes,
display. So you have
yes,
the flying tourbillon, which is dead center. You have the hours and minutes, which are facing, if it's like a driver's watch,
yes.
where
It's
the
below.
smaller hours and minutes are facing the driver if the hand is on the steering wheel. And then at the other extreme on the display is a lab grown diamond,
Yes,
which is actually the astronomical feature in this watch,
yes,
because it's uh, it used as part of the moon phase display.
yeah,
But one thing that I found interesting, and obviously that Michael Friedman was insistent on as well, he didn't want the diamond to be rotating, uh, so it always would appear the same. He
yeah,
has a cover, like an eyelid, if you like, that
yeah,
crosses over the surface of the diamond, over
yeah.
the to reveal the phases of the
Moon
moon.
and the new moon and everything else, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And hey, that's pretty topical for today, because where we are here in Ireland, we are literally less than an hour away from this 95 or 98% eclipse, which is
Eclipse. Yes,
happening.
yes.
So if we're here in an hour's time, Jay, it'll go dark here, my man, and then all you'll be able to see are the whites of my eyes, which is so I'll actually come back to that in a minute or two as well. But yeah, this is quite some piece. So available, he is creating in total 30 pieces. 5 of those 30 are prototypes, so 25 of them are going to collectors.
So
Um,
explain to me, what do you mean by five of them are prototypes?
I guess a prototype. I think it's a luxury to be able to have, for him to be able to have 5 prototypes. But again, I think that luxury stems from his status, his position in the market.
Yes.
That he has the experience, he has the connections, and each prototype is an evolution of the previous one. So it
Oh,
is refining and refining and refining, and just to get it exactly the way that he wants. It's a funny thing. We can go off tangent here if you like for a minute, Jay, because there's another an amazing Chinese brand
yeah.
called Famal Hut. Are you familiar
Oh,
with
yes, of
their?
course, Famal Hut.
Yeah,
That was another sensation which I could never understand what is going on.
they originally Famal Hut had outsourced a lot of the movement, the manufacturing, the production of the movement to a third party who they had been working with them very, very closely. But when push came to shove, it would appear that they weren't able to deliver to the standard that was expected, and that there was issues with reliability, quality,
Oh,
consistency, all of the things that if you're spending a lot of money on a watch, you do not want to be sending it back after you've enjoyed looking at it for 2 days. And
$40,000.
yeah, but what Famal Hood have done, and I think it's very important to close this little section out by saying that they have very, very properly kept their collectors informed by detailed Instagram posts explaining exactly where they are in the process of what they're doing, and they're taking all of the manufacturing in-house. So they have complete control over the quality
Makes a lot of
control
sense.
and everything. So there has been a delay on the production of these pieces, but they are gradually getting there. I think it's admirable of them to be confronting their customers and saying, "This is what's actually happening here. We appreciate your patience. Of course, you're allowed to back out and pass up, give up your slot to someone else." But the funny thing about it is, if you do that and you had a second, a change of heart, it's going to cost you pretty much double what the original piece
Good.
cost. But again, that's you got to factor. You got to. There's no point in making watches and losing money. So the business, it's no good to anybody if somebody gets a watch at a great price, but the watchmaker's gone out of business because he got his numbers wrong. So it's a fascinating story because it's happening kind of in real time. But
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll go back to the B theory by pattern recognition. So as I said, 30 pieces, 25 plus 5 prototypes. It's primarily, I think, engineered to be presented on the bracelet. The bracelet version is 150,000 Swiss francs,
Yes.
excluding taxes and tariffs. It's also available on leather at 120,000. So that's a lot for a bracelet too. But I guess, Jay, it's all finished to haute horlogerie standards. Everything's made out of titanium, so there you can have a brushed, polished, or satin finished elements, and so to personalize it to your. So I would say no two would be exactly the same.
I think
It
I think, people who have that kind of money to spend on a watch, they don't actually give a damn about if it is, bracelet is 150 or leather is 120, because in the end it's what they get and what they want to do with it. And I think it's fantastic the way, these guys position themselves in the market and put it out there, and I'm 100% sure he's already sold all of his watches.
I would not be one bit surprised in this right now at this time in history. People are bringing out new pieces, subscription pieces or
Yes,
limited edition pieces,
yes.
and they're gone. They're out the door. And if you're not in that circle of people who are connected with and knowing what's going on when these guys are literally just having designed it, they're selling watches of what this is. This is a render of the watch. That hasn't even been seen in real life. And
I,
I even know.
I, I'm
Uh,
I am sorry to barge in there. There was an invitation by the Atlanta Watch Community Watch Society. They actually had come to New York, and they had invited certain people to go to see this watch live.
Okay,
And they
obviously one of the prototypes.
they did see that live, and they were all fascinated. I did see some photographs on people's hands, and I was like, what is this? This is something which I have never in my life seen or will see, because the way, look at that, look at this. I mean,
Yeah, it's it's literally it's banana shaped profile, so it has. But
yeah,
Michael Friedman, I was checking out the talking watches on Hodinkee, and uh, so he was saying that it was inspired by in the past in the Art Deco times in the 1920s and 30s, there were other curved watches, but there was one in particular that he mentioned was the
oh
Movado
wow,
Polyplan. And the difference with these watches were that instead of having a small, flat movement, dead center in the case,
yeah,
the movement is actually the architecture of the movement is lit is curved as well.
yeah,
And Jay, I saw this and I immediately thought of one of the great uh, icons, as far as I'm concerned, of modern independent watchmaking, and that is by
oh my
the
god. This is
what
crazy.
This is the Ari, which was made by
Eva Loibe.
Eva Loibe,
Oh
a
my God.
genius. She has created this piece, and unfortunately, I have to say, I think that Eva, like so many other watchmakers of 15 or 17, 20 years back, were just a little bit ahead of their time.
Yes.
And because if I am convinced and try to persuade me that I am wrong, Jay, but that if Eva Loibe was making that watch today, she would have orders for years
Yeah,
to come.
100%. When did she make this watch?
Oh, I think we're going back. Exactly when, I'm not sure. I think, but it's one of the very early independent watches that I saw. So I am going to say in around the end of the noughties, before 2010 type of thing. I would
Oh,
say
it's crazy. I mean,
it
just
is
thinking so much
absolutely,
ahead of time, and oh my God, what? This is a
you know. So
crazy.
that's what you talk to. So that's actually a curved movement.
Yes,
And yeah, so I don't want to detract from the pattern recognition because there are two very different beasts.
of
You
course it
know,
is.
yeah,
But I mean,
but
I look at the piece which you showed us, which he got his thing inspiration from,
the
and I look
Movado,
at the same, yeah, and look at that. It sort of looks like the Eva Loibes, with the bullhead and all of those things, and it's it is something which really, tells you how these watchmakers are looking ahead, 10, 15 years ahead of their times.
yeah. Well, I honestly think, and someday, James, what we're going to have to do is talk about some of the watchmakers who, you know, came out with some remarkable pieces, but again, we're just ahead of their time because there have been plenty like that. Ava
Yeah.
Loiba is still involved in watchmaking. I'm not sure whether she's uh, teaching but uh, it actually seems like a terrible waste if somebody with that talent is teaching and not been able to produce. No, I have absolutely no issue with someone teaching and passing on their knowledge,
Yeah.
but it'd be a shame that she wasn't able to create a piece of that. So, as I said, I didn't want to detract from the pattern recognition B theory, but it just whenever I saw it, I immediately went,
I mean,
"That
that is crazy. I mean, I've seen a lot of, similarities about things, but so different.
yeah, yeah." It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, so that's that. That's the pattern recognition. We reckon, as we said, it's probably completely subscribed now, and there. It's so interesting to see a disruptor. That word I tiptoe around a disruptor, but something that isn't so much of a disruptor is more classical and very elegant, sophisticated from Moritz Grossmann.
True to his style. He's something which of the best what there is. Some of the best watchmakers there is.
I think so. I tell you something. We've just spoken about Eva Loibe,
Yeah.
one of the great female independent watchmakers, of which thankfully there are a few.
Yes.
Um, this Moritz Grossmann has been under the watchful eye of Christine Hutter for the last 10 or 12 years, I think. And they're an amazing, they're a very interesting brand because you don't really see them at the exhibitions or at any of the events.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that I would come in contact with an actual Morris Grossman in the metal, so to speak. Uh, but so I've contacted them today to see will you be in Geneva
Yeah.
during September. So hopefully we'll hear back from them because they're another brand that I think they are quietly going about their business and creating these things of great beauty. And this is the Tefnut 36 which is it's a piece, a 12-piece limited edition that has been released to commemorate the brand's 200th anniversary.
Yeah.
And there are certain little details.
Anniversary.
But
200.
200, yep.
Wow.
Older even than I am, Jay. And I know he thought that if you look at the history of the world, you see Johnny McElherron and then dinosaurs along is the next notch. So, nope, there's a lot of amazing watchmakers, but the Moritz Grossmann name has been kind of revived. Do you know something? In a way, it reminds me of what the Milan family have done with Moser,
Yeah.
and or what Beaver did with Hublot,
Yes.
in a completely different way, of course. Beaver,
Yes, of course.
but it's reviving something that is a classical old brand, and there's everything about that watch oozes elegance to me. It
Yep.
is a little on the small side for my wrist, I have to say, or for my tastes. It might be okay on my
What is it?
wrist.
36?
36 millimeters
Yeah.
and only, I think, 8.5 millimeters tall. So it's a very, very cuff friendly
Yes, yes, yes.
piece.
And 12 pieces, you said?
12 pieces. But look at that beautiful color. So what is it? It is the Tefnut 36 with friction silver plated dial. So it's a German silver dial.
Yeah.
And they've used an old method of plating, which is friction plating, which is done by hand.
Okay.
The numerals are engraved into the surface of the dial and then filled with that turquoise lacquer. And I think turquoise is such
Yeah,
a
of
color.
course.
I have a designer friend who says, "Oh, never put jade or turquoise near anything." And I go, "Do you know something? I have to respectfully beg to differ. That's a fabulous looking piece."
Yeah,
And
look at that. This is the
yeah,
right example. But is it also coming up with a yellow gold story?
nope. Jay, I have just spotted what you're talking about there. I have made a cataclysmic error. I have uh, used, I've not edited a line. See, I'm using an all new fact sheet now this week. So trying to make it a little bit more legible. And
And this fact sheet looks much nicer than the other one. Does it?
well, thank you. I hope so anyway.
It's
But
work in progress all the time, huh?
yeah. And so we will. I can see it. Yeah, I've in good old industrial parlance, there I have ballsed that up to have 18-karat yellow gold. But so it's not going to be available in gold. It's in stainless steel, priced at 29,000
Yours.
euro, and it is beautiful in-house manufacture, manual winding movement. Really see this, and it is just.
Oh
It
wow.
uses, yeah. This is that old, that very classical Saxonian three-quarter plate,
Yes.
and oh man, for me, I've been a fan of this brand for a long time, and I actually I've messaged to say, why are we not seeing you people at these different events and
Yeah.
to see these beautiful pieces in person? But as I said to you, they're they're quietly going about their business and really establishing a name for themselves.
Mm.
And if you know, that's a watch that if that watch, if you're in a room wearing that watch, other people are going to comment on it.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look at that.
Look at the hands.
I mean, both of them, and it's like so delicate, so amazingly beautiful. And then
Stunning.
look at the minute hand. It's very
Yeah.
much thinner, and
Yeah.
it's oh my God.
It's
It's
beautiful. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of this. And as I say, it's really nice to get the opportunity. on in the metal to talk about pieces that that catch our interest and that are that stand out the way they do. Only 12 pieces, I imagine, Jay. That is if you're thinking of getting one now, you've missed that bus.
Oh yeah,
I
I
would
missed
imagine.
that before even he started thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's I love that. So it's a funny thing. You could have it's like music. You can have a wide range of tastes in music. I have a wide range in
What?
taste in design, and I love that when you do something. I'll just call it up again because you look at that. The they've nailed it.
They've nailed it.
Just they've nailed it. They've
Yeah,
got that just perfectly.
yeah,
The proportion of the every element just complements everything else, and that's blooming hard to do. If it was easy, every watch would be drop dead gorgeous like
yeah.
that one. But yeah, so that was that. So I thought then what we'd do would be to look at another brand that we both have a lot of love for, and because it's not just the watches, but it's the people as well, and that's the Singer Reimagined, who have brought out a couple of new pieces. I think actually there might be a third piece, which is a country specific edition, but it is the Heritage V72
Wow.
chronograph, and I
Most
love
complicated complication they call it. Chronographs.
the chrono. You're not wrong. The chronograph is people do not, I think, appreciate
Yes,
just
yes,
how
yes,
sophisticated and complex and
yes.
violent actually the chronograph movement is, because whenever you're pressing the button, the start button on it, you're releasing energy there, and you can actually feel it. You can hear it ping
Yes.
sometimes, and you know that's a release of energy, and it is a very, very sophisticated and complex
Yeah.
mechanism. In fact, I think one of I don't think it's regarded as one of the grand complications, but its sister complication, which is the
Yes.
rat repant, the split second chronograph. Yep, you're way off into that realms of grand complication. This, however, is not this is called the Heritage V72, and it is called that because this is a new departure for Singer over the last year, uh, where they are using historically significant movements, new old stock, if you like, and completely dismantling them in house and reassembling them
Wow.
to Singer's standards. And it is the Valjoux 72,
Oh,
which
wow.
is
So
it's one of those iconic classical
yes,
movements
yes, but
from the 19th.
where do they get it from? But are they remaking them, or is it just a reissue? Or I mean, you don't
No,
find these moments anymore, right?
I know I've actually seen John McGonigal in Ireland here has been working on is it the 77, I think it is, or 78, the Value, and which is a triple date
Yeah,
calendar with
yeah.
moon phase and chronograph. And I have actually seen what he does with that, and that is he has dismantled every component, and there is a bridge in that movement, that at least the one that John was working on, that there's two components were micro welded together when
Oh,
they were being made, and he separated them again to go over and give them a haute horlogerie finishing. And what do you get when you restore a new old stock movement like this? You're going to get a much more refined
mm,
action. Do you know that sense whenever you push on the press on the pusher, and you don't meet, depending on the quality of the movement,
yeah,
you're meeting resistance or not. And you can tell the quality of the mechanism by the amount of resistance that you encounter when you're using the chronograph itself. But yeah, that is um, the Valjoux 72, I think from the 1950s. So
Hmm.
this would have been a classical movement that would have
Yeah.
been in, oh, of course, I should have had my homework done this and be able to list off a ream of watches that this movement would have been in. But
Yeah, yeah, of course.
to bring, I apologize, Jeff, for, yeah. Yes, I know. It's
You should have.
terrible. It's,
You
it's,
should
it's
have.
hard to get
You should
good
have.
people these days.
I'm really, what is going on? This is, oh my God. Anyways, but I think what you were talking about, the complications part of this chronographs, which not a lot of people understand. I think the reason behind that is being they see this chronographs everywhere and all the time.
Everyone.
And I think, not understanding because it is done so many times, the part of that complication. I remember John Claude Beaver telling in one of those talks what he had. He said, "My favorite complication is the chronograph because it is the most one of the most complicated complications."
Yeah.
Listening to him talk, and I'm like, absolutely correct, absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
because it's been seen so many times, people don't understand the value
There
of.
is that, and they don't know what they're wearing. They don't know how just exactly how clever the chronograph actually is, and
Yes,
and how complicated and challenging it is for a watchmaker to create a chronograph. I would venture that is one of the reasons that you do not see too many uh, independents being able to go down that route of creating an actual in-house chronograph movement,
yes,
because it is not because they can't do it. I'm going to say that because although not everybody could create a chronograph movement, but it's the investment in in terms of time and resources to create a movement like that, and that's why I think you see so many of the independents are pretty much time only,
yes,
um, and because it just means they can produce more watches by
yes.
hand and satisfy more customers. But no, I was very impressed with this. I think you're talking about a 38 millimeter case. Just tell you now. There we go. Yes, it's 38 millimeters
Yes.
and
12.
13.25.
Yeah.
So that's because it has a glass box crystal top and bottom. So
Yeah.
that's the crystal that kind of deflects you get that parallax type of effect of it. So there will be 25 pieces in yellow gold at 45,000 Swiss francs, excluding taxes and tariffs, and 50 pieces in stainless steel at 23,000. And so I think it is. I don't think Singer do an awful lot wrong. To be very honest with you, I think they there's a coolness about their brand, about the whole Singer story, where they're coming from, where they've what they're doing, and they're establishing themselves as one of those cool brands in
Brands.
in that independent sector.
Yes.
So I was impressed with that. So I was. What do you think of that? So,
I mean, three totally different, watches, three totally different ideas and concepts, and thinking of restoring the Valjoux 70, which actually is a very, 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 renowned movement from the
yeah,
turbulent times. And this exactly is what it makes these brands to stand out. and that's the
Yeah,
reason why people talk about them, and that's the reason there isn't any talk about what is going to cost me to buy a watch like that. Because if that's what it is, I will look at something else. You see what I
yeah.
mean? This is
You do-
something you ought to
you
look at.
always get people who will say, "Oh, where's the value for money in that there?" And there's a whole narrative. You're not literally just buying a watch.
Yes.
There's there's a there's a kind of a club mentality that you're buying into that uh, kind of that cult. Yeah, and there are cult watches. We talked about Ming last week, and so they've kind of got a similar thing. Okay, we're talking different price points
Yes.
dramatically, but they've created that noise about themselves and that
Yes.
energy. And I think Singer are the same. Singer are not mass producing watches, as we said. They're doing
Yes.
50 in steel, 25 in steel, in yellow gold.
Yes.
So the funny thing about it is, and I know from experience having worked with a number of customers who are acquiring Singer pieces, that there ain't any of the older pieces available anymore, at least not brand new. And so, for whatever people's opinion might be, whether they think it's justifiable um, for what it is. Yeah, you're always going to get a brand who will do something similar for less. You're always going to get brands who are doing something similar for more.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of, do you connect with that story? Do you connect with that brand image? And and again, it's another growing brand. Heck, every one of the brands, except perhaps the Moritz Grossmann that are celebrating 200 years. But the other brands, they are new,
Yeah.
and they're fine. They're breaking out onto the market, and it's an exciting time. It really is,
I think
and
I'm just very looking forward to the Geneva Watch Week, so that I
that's
can
going to be fun.
connect with you first of all, and then connect with all the the brands. I'm looking forward to doing some small things with Autlons, my friend Cedric Yos and Guillaume Tetu. You know, these connections, I'm also looking forward to seeing if, Ludovic is around, Ballard, just to see his mindsets and his way of looking at a different type of watchmaking. So all of these things make a big difference for me, just to get these knowledge, into me.
I know that Ludovic lives on the outskirts of Geneva, and so he's never. His workshop is there, and I've had the great pleasure and privilege of breaking bread in his over his kitchen table with
Oh,
his
really?
enchanting wife Flavia,
Yeah,
and
Flavia.
they
Flavia.
are
Is
such.
she is she German or Flavia or
I
Italian?
think if anything, possibly Italian, but I don't know. I could be saying something. She could be sitting and watching this right now, typing out a letter of complaint to the editor. And so we don't know the answer to that particular question, but we will find out. And yeah, I'm so much looking forward to mixing it with these people. Being
Yes.
in Ireland, I get 2 or 3 opportunities every year to go and
Yes.
to see these people, and
I mean, you
that's
should
why this thing is called In the Metal, because
you should still think about coming to New York.
I will think. It's not even a matter of thinking about it. It's just logistically getting that hooked up. So, but you and I can talk about that off air sometime, and we can line something up. And I'd love to do that. Absolutely love to do that. But as I said, I'm looking forward to catching up with you in Geneva anyway, and going around. And I'll bring a couple of little cameras with me and see if we can't do a little broadcast here and there, and
Yes.
get in some people's faces and see if we can what we can do. But and as I say, that's the reason this platform is called In the Metal, because people used to ask me, they say, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, actually, I write about watches, and I don't write so much about watches these days, but I did back in the day." And I thought to myself, because that's what I do. Actually, I don't write about watches. I write about pictures of watches or videos of watches that are sent to me in press releases and things like that. And it's only whenever I go to Geneva or formerly Baselworld or SAHH or Salon QP or something like that where I actually got to see a watch in the metal.
Yes, yes,
So
just
that's
there.
that's where this whole thing came about anyway. And so look, Jay, here we are, 50 minutes. These things are supposed to last about 40 minutes, and we always go over. I don't mind. I'm
I'm
loving doing
so
these here.
happy about this way of not
It's
thinking about the time and just doing the best what we can and talking about the best things what there are. And I think independent watchmaking is something which I would always be a fan of and always be committed to, and let's go from there.
as long as I've known you, you've been absolutely had that burning interest in what we do. Listen, it's been good fun doing it. I hope, folks, that you've enjoyed our little wander through this week's news and brought some of these pieces to you. And we're looking forward to doing it again next time around, and excitedly looking forward to Geneva as well. So there'll be plenty to talk about after that week. Yep.
Talk
So,
to you guys soon.
folks, thanks a million. And Jay, speak to you soon, my friend.
Take care.